Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Hello and welcome. You are watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. It was a day of profit booking for the Indian markets yesterday as the Sensex tanked almost 1,000 points. The Nifty fell over 300 points from the record levels seen earlier in the day. Greater pain was also seen in the broader markets. The question is this the beginning of the correction after a stupendous bull run? We will tell you all of it. But first up, the top headlines this hour. Bears appear suddenly across the globe as equities retreat sharply in the face of strong profit booking. Investors will now be fence-sitters as they wait for stocks to slip to juicier levels before committing fresh funds. Markets may slip further on Thursday as Nifty's weekly expiry prompts traders to book more profit after a fantastic run-up. Extreme caution is advised on the long side. Stop losses are critical. Very good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shail. Well, after a correction that we saw on the Nifty of the quantum we saw yesterday, the biggest single-day decline since October 26, how would you really now see the penultimate options expiry for 2023 for the Nifty to pan out now?
Okay, a very warm welcome to all the thousands of viewers who are joining us. Good morning to you as well as Sakshi to you as well. Today, I'd just like to pause for a while and Sakshi mentioned two very important things. One, in yesterday's headlines, Market Today had mentioned that stop loss is your best friend. And the fact that over the last week or so, repeatedly we've been mentioning extreme caution is advised. For those who followed these two very basic principles, yesterday was a breeze. Now, is the bull market over? Is this correction going to deepen further? Let's just analyze. The bull market is not over, Sakshi. I think only those people are worried who have taken long positions in super stretched and overstretched technical stocks over the last 1 week. Now, why is the bull market not over? Two reasons. One, yesterday's fall was not accompanied by any sharp rise in volume, although the sell-off was swift and very sharp. Now, this is a characteristic of a bull market that bears appear magically at the snap of a finger. So, there is the weekly expiry of the Nifty today. We will see where the index is trying to open and then take a call from then on. Sakshi, my inherent belief is that investors will now be fence sitters because they will wait for juicier prices to emerge on the Nifty. And in terms of practicality, two things are out of the window. One, do not buy this dip unless the index settles down first. One, the fall has to stop. Second, the index has to consolidate at whatever level it comes down to, and then we shall commit fresh money. Remember, blue chips will remain a better bet rather than mid caps and small caps, and the fact that you are advised more caution at this level, do not get agitated or do not get attracted to falling prices immediately. Let us see where this market sort of settles down, and then we will commit money. And Sakshi, 1 or 2 points I'd also like to mention. The fact that a lot of rumors are in the market that this fall happened because of rising COVID cases. This fall happened because NSE and BSE put in extra margins. The margin point was known from much earlier, so there are fresh margins that will be imposed from Jan 1, which was already known in the system. The market remains healthy. These corrections are necessary for old people to book profit and for new investors to come in. The Nifty and the Bank Nifty are still fantastically up in the month of January. There is no cause for worry. Let this correction pan out. And I'd like to add one more thing, Sakshi, that just as this fall in prices is sharp and swift, the rise in prices will be equally fast and very brutal. So we must wait for that day and keep our powder dry. I still repeat, extreme caution is advised on the long side. Stop loss is your most critical friend. Do not try to buy this dip immediately and wait for the index to settle sideways. Sakshi, this is the advice for both the Nifty and the Bank Nifty.
Okay, got that. On the Nifty Bank, that index also saw a sharp dip yesterday, and it continued to face resistance around 48,000 mark as well for the 4th day in a row. We did see that barring HDFC Bank, most of the index constituents also ended the day with losses as well. So on the Nifty Bank, is there any particular strategy, or one should continue to hold on, and wait for these periodic volatility to actually go past by Shail now?
Okay, Sakshi, I would just like to say, for sensible investors, this is a time to pause and wait. Let us see where this index sort of settles. I repeatedly am telling you, only those people are bothered who had taken long positions in the last 3 or 4 trading sessions, and they are the ones who are thinking that this bull market has ended. Nothing could be further away from the truth. We remain in a secular uptrend. These corrections are sharp and swift. And let me add, we have the weekend tomorrow, Sakshi. We have the weekend ahead of us, and the next week is going to be a truncated week. That is that Monday is a holiday. So, people will take a very cautious view in extending short positions. My view is that give this 1 or 2 days. On Tuesday, there is most likely that some decent buying will emerge. We are ending December, so there are 2 or 3 positive things I'd like to mention. This is the end of the 3rd quarter as far as our financial year is concerned. It is the end of the calendar year, which will decide what the bonus levels are for fund managers overseas, and it is also going to be a spectacular close to what has been a fantastic 2023. So my understanding is that fund managers will try कि NAVs बढ़िया रहे उनके funds की, भाई उनको भी तो bonus मिलेगा ना closing price पे, तो जितना अच्छा रहेगा उतना बेहतर. So panic is not what is advised. If you are in good fundamentally strong stocks, please remain put as long as they are passive long-term positions. Please do not remove your SIPs. Please do not panic. These things happen. The frequency, the ferocity and the suddenness of this move is typical of a bull market, and the up move will be equally sharp and equally brutal. Sakshi, I am repeating myself. Extreme caution is advised. Your stop loss is your best friend. Do not try to buy this dip unless the index settles sensibly, and patient investors are the ones who make the maximum money. The market is an instrument of transfer of wealth from the impatient to the patient.
Okay, that's a fair advice that I hope all the viewers are taking in, and just no panic is definitely something that you have to continue to remember. In the FNO space, Shell, of course, like I said, it's the penultimate options expiry for 2023. Any particular stocks that you have on your radar today?
Sakshi, what we will do today is for the first 15-20 minutes, we will wait for the Nifty to settle. Let us see how it opens. Point number one. Does it open above yesterday's close, which was 21,150? Does it open with a gap down? And what does it do in the first 15 minutes of trade? Remember, the first candle, the first 15-minute candle on the index is always made by institutional investors, which is they work very hard the previous day for the last half an hour, and those positions get squared up. Now remember, today is also the weekly expiry of the Nifty. We will just wait for the first 15 minutes to see whether these shorts are taken out of the system or not, or fresh positions on the short side are being made. My own understanding is at the moment positions have been squared off because there was hardly any extra volume in the market given the gravity of the fall. So at the moment people have squared off their longs, and now they are waiting for the market to react in a manner in which they can follow the trend. The trend can be gap down and further sales, and trend can be gap down and then buying. We don't know, I am being very honest, but always the best way is follow the trend. Let the institutions, Sakshi, set the trend, and then we will take it from there. So no stocks to watch in FNO. We will keep our eyes and ears open, and we will read prices for you. We will not suggest any stock picks to be had. We will not suggest any long trades or the short trades. Sakshi.
Fair enough. Let's also look at how the global cues are shaping up. Even the US did see, a sea of red towards the end of their session. The Nasdaq 100 ended the session 1.5% down, the biggest one-day drop in 8 weeks, as the tech-heavy benchmark drew back from its latest all-time high levels. S&P 500 fell at a similar pace in its steepest drop since September 26. We also saw that the Dow index was also down by about 1.3, 1.4 odd percent as well. So, all the three indices close to 1.5% down in trade. Apart from this, the Asian markets also fell this morning after the global stock market rally stalled for a day. The Nikkei 225 declined by 1.3%. The Topix fell by 1.2%. South Korea's Kospi also down by about 0.4%. So it's a sea of red that you see across the globe as well. Trends in the Nifty, they're again showing a decline again today. It is showing an opening at 21,093 as of now as well. So that's a bit of some more profits being taken off that you could perhaps expect in the pre-opening trade. Now, as far as the flows are concerned, the FIs continued to remain net sellers in the Indian markets. They sold shares worth 1,322 odd crore rupees yesterday. The DIs, however, they bought 4,754 crore rupees worth of stocks in yesterday's trading session. So a strong buying on dip coming in from the domestic institutional investors in yesterday's trading action. What are the stocks to watch then today? Of course, we will continue to keep an eye out on the primary market space. Inox India's listing today expected to be a strong one. And of course, the issue saw a strong subscription at 61 times as well. The grey market premium also indicating a 480 point kind of a jump. So somewhere around 1140 kind of levels is what you could see. Shipbuilding stocks in the secondary market will be very, very important to watch out for. Mazagon Dock, the company has clinched a 1,600 crore rupee contract with the acquisition wing of Ministry of Defence for construction and delivery of 6 next generation offshore patrol vehicles for Indian Coast Guard. Cochin Shipyard will be in focus because again this has signed a firm contract with for about 488 crore rupees with the Ministry of Defence, again for a naval ship. Z Entertainment will be in focus because Sony Pictures has now agreed, as per the company's information, to discuss extending the date required to make the merger scheme effective. From the real estate space, I'm watching out for DLF. The real estate firm has said that it has sold independent floors and commercial plots for around 1,400 crore rupees in Gurugram and Panchkula in Haryana. So amid a strong property demand as well. So these are some of the stocks that I am keeping an eye out on. Shail?
Yes, actually, I am planning to rest. I am very clear. We will just watch prices. And for those who are wondering why am I wearing a red tie and Sakshi is dressed in red, for very simple reasons. We want bulls to sort of come back into action, and let us see what happens. Of course, this is all, how should I say, unplanned.
Yeah.
And let us see how it does. Sakshi, we've done a lot of hard work for the last maybe 20-25 sessions. We'll just wait for this panic to subside and then maybe see whether this is an opportunity to start getting back into Nifty ETFs. I'll tell you why. Somewhere on 26th October, I had suggested that Nifty ETFs and the Bank Nifty ETFs should be purchased for the long term on a daily basis for the next 10 days, and that worked out beautifully. Now let us see whether the market is going to give us an opportunity. The last 7 trading sessions are what are left, Sakshi. There is no need to panic, and we'll watch stocks. You've mentioned 2 very good news items coming in for Moscow and Cochin shipbuilders. That's an interesting piece of news, as also the telecom space. Let us see. Let us wait for the market to open. In my 27 years with equities, I have always believed, let people who have more money and more sense than you set the trend and then follow it.
Fair enough, Shail. Let me also bring up some of the stocks that are on top brokerage houses radar for all our viewers. UPL is on the focus list of HSBC. They've maintained a buy rating on the company with a target price of 750. Remember, yesterday we did see the stock close at 572 odd levels, 4.5% down. So significant uptick from the last closing levels is what HSBC sees on UPL. On PI Industries, HSBC has again maintained a buy with a target price of 4100. Again, seems to be a positive trigger for the company. On Dhanuka Agritech, they've maintained a buy rating with a target price that they have raised now from the initial target to now 1200 rupees per share. Again, a positive. Bear Crop is again in focus. So a lot of agri-related stocks they're keeping an eye out on. They've maintained a hold here and raised the target price to 5600 as well. DLF, of course, we were talking about the news flow on the strong real estate demand and 1400 crore rupees worth of flats being sold. Morgan Stanley has maintained a positive overweight rating on the company, and the target price here they have given is 770. Yesterday, DLF closed at 675. Nuvama has come out with a report on Orchid Pharma. They've initiated a buy on the company now with a target price of 900 rupees per share as well. So that's another stock that you can keep on your radar as well. Orchid Pharma closed yesterday at 683, 5.6% higher over a weekly trade as well. But 900 rupees per share is what Nuvama really believes over the long term that you can see on this one as well. So those are some of the stocks that are on the top of brokerage houses radar. Shail?
Sakshi, let me just put in a word of enthusiasm. I would like to watch FMCG stocks on the long side. And I'll give you a very practical reason for it. Money that has moved away from this profit booking that has happened yesterday will definitely find a medium to be transferred to. And what is the best case solution there? The best case solution there is to look at stocks like Hindustan Unilever. I mentioned it 2 days ago that in this roaring bull market, a franchise like Hindustan Unilever is available around its 200 DMA. Ditto for ITC. This is something which has seen better days. The all-time high was 500. You are at 445 somewhere, and also around 200 DMA. Britannia. These are stocks, Sakshi, which withstood yesterday's carnage. Britannia in particular. All-time high 5300. You are at 4954. This is the most defensive space in the market, which practically hasn't done much over the last 4 or 5 months. And this is where money will flow. Hindustan Unilever, ITC, Britannia, and Tata Consumer. These are probably 4 stocks that can be looked into for those who have the itch to do something in the market. My understanding is just wait, let this panic subside, and then we'll take a call, Sakshi.
Absolutely, Shail. So definitely, these are going to be important stocks to watch out for. The rally that we saw yesterday, and of course, in the initial half, of course, and the positive commentary from most of our analysts coming in on the FMCG pack as well, especially Gaurang Shah, who was bullish on at least 7 stocks from the FMCG pack as well. And he named them all in our yesterday's edition as well. And the edition is available on our YouTube channel. You can go back and take that down in case you want to. Varun Beverages was a very, very interesting move yesterday as well. Of course, record high levels have been seen. The stock has grown 17, 18 times since its IPO in 2016. That was an interesting one. And the company was in focus yesterday, 18% surge on an intraday basis too. Like I said, of course, the primary market action will be in focus. We will continue to hope to see how Inox India really makes a debut on BSE and SE today. The grey market premium around 440 odd, 480 odd levels, and add to that the issue price 660 odd levels. You can actually see 1100 kind of, as per the grey market indication, that what could be a 73% kind of premium is what it is indicating on the listing of Inox India. It's a cryogenic tank exporter, the largest of it in India as well. These tanks are used for storing these liquefied gases like oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, etc. And of course, when we talk about the renewable energy focus of the countries across the world, there could be a higher demand that Inox India could be penciling in on that front as well. So that's going to be another space to watch out for. Meanwhile, we will wait for our guests on the show. Vineet Bulinchkar and Soni Patnaik will be our two guests who will be joining us very, very shortly, and we will continue to discuss with them what are the stocks and strategies that you can have in today's market session. Meanwhile, we'll take a very, very short break right now. When we return, the conversation with both our guests. Stay with us.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
Rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Welcome back. You're watching Market Today on Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi. With me is Shail Bhatnagar. And also now joining us is our guest on the show, Vineet Bulinchkar, Head of Research at Ventura Securities, now joins in. Very good morning to you, Vineet, and good to have you with us on Business Today Television. How would you really see yesterday's profit booking towards the latter half of the day? And what would you advise investors to do? Is this a market to buy the dip, or should one just wait to see if there could be more correction from here?
So I think it was a very swift and a very deep correction. Normally in bull markets, you would expect these corrections to be bought into. But I think we are in an overextended market, which having run up so far, so fast, there could be some kind of further follow through to this correction. And to my mind, I think one should wait it out.
A warm welcome to you, Vineet, and what a pleasure to host you on this kind of an uncertain day. So far, over the last 3 months, we've enjoyed such a fantastic uptrend that one really has forgotten what a correction actually looks like. Be that as it may, now tell us what are your thoughts when it comes to blue chips? Will they continue to outperform mid caps and small caps after this punch down is digested by the market, or will there be a new set of sectors and leaders emerging?
So the new sectors and stocks are already, well fashioned out. We've seen the railways, the defense stocks play it out and lead the bull run. And I think they will continue to do so once this mayhem kind of settles down. Uh, we continue to believe that these sectors, along with renewable energy, defense, railways, power stocks, and the large caps will be the major beneficiaries of new money coming into the market. Uh, so it would be advisable to stay invested in these stocks and also churn your portfolio out of the other sectors which I have not mentioned into the large caps, mainly the PSU banks.
Okay.
Okay. Now we'll wait, Sakshi, for the pre-open trades to come
Yes.
in. Uh, It'll be critical for us to see where the index opens. There are all signs of continued weakness as far as the GIFT Nifty is concerned. Remember, there was a 300-point cut on the Nifty yesterday, 21,150. There was a 600-point cut on the IT index, a classical 1.7% drop. I'll explain this later. 34,741. The most critical thing is the weekly expiry of the Nifty today. Let us see what kind of rollovers you have as far as positions in the long and the short side are concerned. Of course, that will be known after markets end the day today. Okay, this is a bit of a danger. 21,000 has disappeared in the gap down. Let us see how this moves forward. At the moment, you have a 1.4% dip on the Nifty. Now, what are the biggest contributors to this fall? Okay, we'll see the three main stocks so far. Infosys is down 1%, 1521. HDFC Bank is down 4.5%, 1580. And Reliance is actually in the green, 2536. My understanding is that this dip will improve towards the green side. Let us see how it happens. TCS down 2.7%, 3675. Bajaj Finance down 0.5%. Let's look at the corporate banks. ICICI Bank 986, 52% lower. And let's look at Axis Bank, 0.5% lower, 1104. Okay, the Nifty is at 20,927. Let's shift focus to what is happening in the F&O space minus the index heavyweights. What are the stocks that are down in the dumps? Chola Finance, 1.5% lower, 1221. There's a lot of, how should I say, volatility in the market. Let it settle, and there's no point talking about prices which will not get reflected immediately. At the moment, I think 21,000 is what the bulls will get back on the Nifty. Now it's down just 180 points, 0.85% lower, but a gap down nonetheless. The first 15 minutes, of course, will be crucial. Most likely, we will just read out prices for you. And let's get Vineet's view in. Vineet, this kind of a downdraft immediately. 1.1% lower yesterday, and it opens almost a percent lower. What do you feel on the Nifty at least?
Yeah, as I mentioned to you earlier, that we had overextended the bull market on one side. And with so many IPOs coming into the market, along with, the kind of rampant bull market which you've seen in SME IPOs, I think somewhere the bubble had to burst. And we saw that happening. The sharp cut of, almost 600 Nifty points yesterday was a clear indicator that, the markets are weak. Uh, Excesses have been done with and they are now correcting. So as quickly as they've been formed, I think in double quick time, we are seeing the correction happen. And I expect that, as I told you, around 20,500, 550 levels is somewhere, where you can start nipping into the fall.
Okay. I think Soni Patnaik is also with us now, our other guest, AVP Derivatives Research, JM Financial. Soni, good morning. Welcome to Business Today Television and Market Today. Tell us, how would you trade the markets today? We're already looking at a 180-point dip in the pre-opening action on the Nifty. It's the weekly options expiry, 20,972. What would you do?
Good morning, Sakshi. Good morning, Shailendra. Thank you so much for having me on this show. Of course, we're seeing that gap down, and we've seen a correction from overbought zones of the indices yesterday. It was on expected lines, but of course, the correction was more than expected. 21,000 holds a very key important psychological level, and the weekly closing, if it is above 21,000, then one may still have the confidence that the uptrend is still intact. However, if it breaks and the weekly closing falls below 21,000, which by tomorrow's closing is below 21,000, then maybe the near term trend will see some sort of a near term short term reversal in the upside. It won't be that strong pull on the upside anymore. So we may look forward to support levels below 21,000. It can see 20,730 odd levels in spot levels. That's what I'm saying. So I think this is where the markets can be. 20,700 would be a very crucial support, because if that breaks, then I think the entire trend may see another reversal, and 20,400 can also be on cards. But that would be a bit far-fetched. I think let's just look ahead to how the weekly closing is taking place, because it'll be also important to look forward to the rollovers of positions starting from tomorrow, which will be the monthly expiry. And similarly for Bank Nifty, we feel that 47,000 is that crucial support. Now, if that is breaking on weekly closing, it will be important for Bank Nifty to watch out for 46
Right,
plus
ma'am.
the 12,000 levels.
Okay. Sakshi, one good thing is that 21,000 is back with the bulls, as I was trying to point out. And now the cut on stock prices is not all that ferocious. So you have Infosys still down 1.5%, 1511. We have a 1% cut on ICICI Bank. Let's look at what Hindustan Unilever and ITC are trying to tell us. Both of them are just down 0.5%, 2542 for lever, and ITC is actually flat 450. That's really interesting. These are the two stocks that I'll be looking for. And now look at the two heavyweights, HDFC Bank and Reliance Industries, Sakshi. 4% down Reliance, 2521, and HDFC Bank is actually in the green. So both these stocks will be used to sort of keep the Nifty afloat and not induce a panic in the market. So that's how the structure is. Let's look at the top losers on FNO. That is going to be an interesting thing. Now remember, City Union Bank down 3.5%, GMR Infra down 2.5%, RECL down 1.6%. Of course, Ambuja and Adani Ports. There are no 4, 5, 7, 10% cuts in the market. So sensible people seem to be sort of looking at this opportunity to maybe add. And the four stocks that I mentioned, which are top losers, were intensely high beta, low ticket items, which were showing a lot of speculation. Let's shift focus to NSE 500. Let's look at stocks that are losing. Okay, Indian Bank down 9%. Again, high beta, low ticket. IIFL, Adani Green, ATGL and Suzlon. These are down between 3 and 5%. Remember, they had appreciated very fast. These are the places where you are seeing profit booking. You are not seeing shorts as yet enter the system. The gainers on NSE 500, Sakshi, surprise, Mazgaon Dock and Cochin Shipyard, both news led. So like I'm trying to say, there is little panic in the market, and 21,033 where the index has settled, 116 points lower. Now let us see what happens for the first 15 minutes after the markets open. Vineet, your thoughts on the pre-open price settling. How do you think the market has reacted so far?
So I think trying to hold back onto the 2100 levels, psychological level. But I think, as I mentioned, the yesterday's cut was very deep, and I do not see these prices kind of sustain. They should kind of sell off, or more profit taking should continue uh, through the next couple of days.
Right. Okay. So let's look at some of the stocks that are managing to hold up in the pre-opening trade. You see NTPC at 301 odd levels, about a percent higher. ONGC 0.4% higher. Grasim Industries 0.3% higher. Reliance Industries at 25.29. 0.09% higher in trade. These are the only 3 or 4 stocks that are managing to perhaps hold up in an otherwise muted set. But most of the stocks are into the red. The ones that are deep into the red, the top losers on the Nifty in the pre-opening space would include some of the IT names like Tech Mahindra and HCL Technologies down by 1.3%, Adani Ports down by 1.5%, Adani Enterprises 1.2% down in trade, Power Grid down 1.1%, Apollo Hospitals, Bajaj Finserv down by over a percent, Hero Moto and ICICI Bank also down by 1%. So these are the heavyweight counters that are looking down. But Soni, I wanted to ask you, we're looking at this energy basket holding up, NTPC, ONGC. What would you do here?
Yesterday's move was quite positive for ONGC especially, but with that fall, it has held on to a very important support of 200. So I feel that as long as 200 is not breaking on a closing basis, one may look to buy and accumulate the stock only near its support. So I think around 200 would play a very crucial level. So as long as 200 is holding, it can see a bounce back again up to 210, 212 levels. So it will be a wait and watch, of course. If 200 is holding, then one can look forward to accumulate at that level. Then again, look for targets of 210 plus.
Okay, Sakshi, some more prices I'd like to mark. And remember, the PSUs were the best theme in the game on the long side. Let's try and look at stocks which, in this kind of a, how should I say, fearful environment, are trying to open higher. ONGC and Oil India, they are in the green. Steel Authority of India is in the 1% higher. We've discussed Cochin Shipyard and Mazgaon Docks in the green. We will not be taking any technical calls for the first 15 minutes. We want the market to settle. And of course, you have a green tick on ITDC. Now, which are the ones that are in pain? FedFina, remember this was an IPO, 3.9% lower, 135. IREDA, 2.8% lower, 102. Nobody will be pained by this fall. Remember, an IPO of 32 rupees, which went all the way up to 114. HUDCO, 99 rupees, 2.65% lower. JNK Bank, 2.1% lower, 117. Within the defense space, we've discussed Mazgaon and of course Cochin Shipyard. What is in the green apart from that? These are the only 2 ones in the green. And in the super high beta space, which I track a lot, well, you have JSW Energy in the green. You have Texrail in the green. I think, Sakshi, you mentioned Texrail. They've got some order, right?
They had got that yesterday, Shail, not today. But the entire railway pack has been buzzing off late as well. RVNL was also one of the stocks that had bagged an order as well and deal in the last few days. So the entire railway pack is a theme. We need your take on the railway space, which is the stock that you're tracking on a long-term basis.
I think Titagarh Wagons is my go-to stock for the long-term basis, and very, very good company. I guess once the profit-taking measures are through, I think this stock should find comfort with buyers and should resume its uptrend.
Okay. Tex Macro Rail, like Shail, you were pointing out, yesterday 1,374 crore rupees order was received by the company on from Indian Railways. That was the order that they had got yesterday.
Okay. Let's get this discussion with Sony. Ma'am, anything that catches your fancy in the markets in this pre-open trade? We still have 2 minutes left for the market to open.
Yeah, definitely, I think I would look at on the sell side more, of course, if the levels are broken. Not that I'm recommending, but Astral is one stock where we saw some aggressive short built-up positions taking place yesterday. It was almost to the tune of 10% short built-up positions, and it has also broken the support of 1900 on closing basis yesterday. So I feel that there could be some weakness left to it. Maybe it can test 1830 odd levels also, provided it is not crossing 1900. So it will be a wait and watch for me still, but I would definitely put Astral in the watching list, mostly on seeing how the shorts have are converting themselves today.
Okay. Astral, of course, has a QIP from the parent where promoters are selling some stake for perhaps future expansion plans. It's the QIPs, it was the IPO oversubscription and the fantastic listings that probably attracted bears to this market. Okay. We are just seconds away from opening. Remember, it's a 0.5% downtick on the Nifty in pre-open and a 0.5% downtick as far as the Bank Nifty is concerned. Okay. 21,018 for the Nifty, 152 points lower. It is accelerating. 21,000 is gone. Nifty Bank 1% lower, 450 points down, 46,950. IT index is almost a percent lower, 34,465, and the widest possible index, Nifty 500, is 1% lower at 18,600. Now let's focus on stock prices. I wanted to see what Reliance is doing. Flat 25.21. HDFC Bank flat 16.55. Infosys 0.5% lower 15.27. 21,000 is back on the Nifty. That's critical. ICICI Bank less than a percent lower 997. Axis Bank 1.5% lower 1094. What is ITC doing? 448 down 0.5%. What is Hindustan Unilever doing? Down less than 0.5%. 2547. Okay. 21,000, like I said, is back on the market. Let's look at FNO. At the moment, I am only concerned with stocks that are losing. Okay. Nothing to be worried about. City Union Bank, PEL, PFC and REC are down between 2 and 5%. Remember, there were super high beta counters. What is gaining on FNO? Z, 3.5% lower. Sony seems to have agreed to give a little more breathway for the planned merger to happen. 259.60. Reliance Sakshi is in the green. This dip is likely to be purchased. 0.8% higher, 25.47. Nestle is flat and HDFC Bank is in the green, 16.57. So these two are being used, like I said, to massage the index and prevent its huge fall. NSE 500. What is moving? Oil India 3.5% higher, 373, fresh record high. Mazgaon 2.65% higher, 2100. Cochin Shipyard news driven 2% higher, 1246. What is losing ground? I'm much interested in that. Okay, Indian Bank is down 7%. Suzlon is down 5%. City Union Bank is down 3.9%. Then you have Adani Power down 4%. 489. What's in the PSU basket? Okay, PSU, like I said, Indian Bank is one of the biggest losers, 398. Ireda 0.5% lower, 104.6. HUDCO 1.7% lower, 100. JK Bank 3.3% lower, 115.95. What's in the green? Is there a stock in the green? Of course, there are many. Oil, Mazgaon, Cochin, we have discussed. MSTC 1% higher, 515. Sakshi, we are now at 21,050. The low seems to have been purchased. Shorts are getting squeezed. Let us see what happens from now. What are the stocks that you are watching? Index is now down only 74 points, 21,074 on the Nifty. The Nifty Bank has halved its losses, 47,170. Let us see what happens in the first 15 minutes. This panic seems to be getting absorbed by the market. Sakshi.
Absolutely. A lot of stocks in the F&O space now moving higher. Z already pointed out by Shell. Dixon Technologies 1.5% higher. Metropolis Healthcare 1.4% higher. DLF, which I pointed out is as part of news flows and on top of brokerage houses radar, is up by 1.7%. Cummins India up by 0.8%. IRCTC from the railways pack is up by 0.8%. Steel Authority of India up by 0.8% as well. So some of the stocks are really buzzing in the F&O space right here. Sony, to you, which is the trade that you would like to take right in the opening space?
I will definitely put my eyes on SBI. The sole reason is that SBI had given a 52-week high breakout above 630. Although we seeing that dip, it is very close to its support. So even if there is a risk reward that could be favorable, it could be at current levels because it is at 634, 635 now. So, 625 plays at very crucial support. So, holding a very small stop loss of 625, it can bounce up to 645 odd levels. So, I think this could be a safer play. However, please do remember that, looking at the volatility of the markets, it is very crucial to follow the stop losses on a very strict discipline.
Okay, let me point out a large trade that has happened on the deal street. AMI Organics, 12% equity has exchanged hands. 5% down, the stock has dipped amidst this large trade. So about 46 lakh shares have exchanged hands with at 475 odd levels, and therefore in fact 475 odd crore rupees of stocks have exchanged hands, and 1030 is the level at which you see AMI Organics really trading at right now. The deal has happened at 1031. And right now the stock is moving somewhere around those levels only. AMI Organics down in trade right now. Just wanted to mention that. But Mazagon Dock and Cochin Shipyard both rallying in trade from the shipbuilder stocks driven by news. 3% higher almost on in trade today. 3.7% higher on Mazagon Dock, 21.22, and Cochin Shipyard 2.2% higher, 12.52. Vineet, would you buy these shipbuilder stocks at these levels?
I will just wait it out for a few days. We've seen, as I continue to say, we've seen an extended market, and not the time to get into the market. Just it's too early to lick your wounds. I think you should just wait it out for a while and let them heal.
Okay. Z Entertainment now inching higher, 4.4% higher in trade now, Shell.
Yes, Sakshi, like I said, we'll wait for the first 15 minutes. The panic seems to have been subsiding. 21,061 as far as the Nifty is concerned, and this is just 0.4% lower. Let us see what happens after the first 15 minutes. The pain on the NSE 500 has also reduced. Remember, it had opened 1% lower. This is the widest possible index that we have. Now down only 58 points, which is 1/3%. IT index, Sakshi, I have this feeling it will come up in the green very soon. Just 60 points lower. Remember, it had started 300 points lower. So this is the dip that is being purchased. The low on the Nifty IT index was 34,418. We are now at 34,669. So it's a 250 point uptick from the day's low so far. It's early days yet, but 21,050 is still with the bulls. Let me just give you an interesting statistic as far as the Nifty is concerned. Remember, at the moment, just 7 stocks are up and 43 are down. This is critical because we will see how the markets react during the day. In the most immediate index heavyweights, Sakshi, Reliance, Infosys and HDFC Bank. Remember, these are the 3 highest weighted counters and all 3 are in the green. That speaks volumes about how the panic is being managed in the market. That 33 to 35% of Nifty is in the green, and the remainder seems to be bouncing back from the day's low. TCS, the low was I think 37.40. It's at 37.72. These are very, very critical moments which should be watched. Let me give you a 5-minute picture and it will be very, very interesting. I want to see what stocks in the index heavyweights have done in the past 5 minutes. Okay, it's still a picture of red. Only Reliance, Infosys, and HDFC Bank have come up. Sony, is there anything out of the ordinary that you are watching in the market which requires our attention? I'm not asking for a buy or a sell trade.
Challenge, I think we should keep a watch on AU Bank. There are two reasons. One would be that yesterday's in the choppy market, AU Bank did not break a very important support of 740. And yesterday, in fact, 740 was looking at the where open interest was still adding at that strike, which was indicating it can be a support. And to add to it, it also witnessed some aggressive long built positions of 5 odd percent yesterday. So if I look at the charts and the prices today, so 740 is a level which was still defended. So let's just keep a watch on AU Bank and why the reason, the rationale why we saw long built up positions getting added yesterday, even in such a, choppy market. I think we can look for levels of if it's able to see some resistance ahead, like 770, whether it's able to cross that level or not. So I think 740, 770 is these are the crucial levels to watch in terms of support and resistance for AU Bank.
Okay.
Okay. Sakshi, I'd like to mark one stock which is Tata Power. Interestingly, yesterday it made a fresh high of 346 rupees and of course ended sharply lower 320. Now today's low is being purchased. The low was 313 in the morning. The stock is now at 323. It is very, very hard to say in options and futures where such stocks are present, whether this is the short covering of yesterday's shorts or a fresh buying, that only time will tell. But I am just pointing out how sensible this market at the moment seems to be. We are at 925. The index is now slipping a bit, 125 points lower, 21,022 on the Nifty. Now a 400-point cut on the Nifty Bank, 47,034. We will wait for the first 15 minutes for the market to settle and then maybe stick our necks out. Anything you are observing, Vineet, which requires our attention?
Yeah, so we've seen an initial thrust on the upside, but not being sustained. And now we are breaking the day's low, established in the morning, inching towards the 21,000 levels. And if this breaks, I think then we will go back to the lows that we have seen during the pre-open of the day.
Okay, let's look at some of the other pockets that are moving up. Sony, I'd like your attention on the railway pack that we were just mentioning. IRCTC is up by 1.4%. IRFC is picking up pace as well. How would you look at some of these stocks here, and any trade that you would like to take from the railway pack?
Hello?
Sakshi, recently we have seen, this pack has been doing well, especially IRCTC, and even I can see that it is trying to defend a very important support of 800 technically. Very crucial support. So as long as 800 is held and being defended, it can bounce back up to 850, 870 range. So I think that's how the technical charts are indicating on a weekly positional basis. So it becomes important if 800 is breaking, of course we can see further downside coming up to 750 again. So I think it will be important to watch and not to immediately add any aggressive positions, but just watch out for the levels on closing basis. 800 plays a very crucial level for the week.
Okay. Let's look at some of the stocks that are moving up despite this muted trend in the Nifty 500 basket. Gujarat Ambuja Exports, 3.8% higher, the top mover right now. Chemplast Sanmar, 2.4% higher. BEML, 2.4% higher in trade. Allcargo Logistics, 2.2% higher. Gujarat Pipavav Ports, 1.8%. Himachal Futuristic, up by 0.9%. Endurance Tech is moving up in trade as well. So these are some of the stocks that are picking up pace. I wanted to take your view on BEML, Sony. How would you trade this stock? 2.6% higher. Of course, the defense space has been a larger overarching theme that we've been discussing for a whole lot of last 3 months odd. Would you still advise somebody to take a fresh bet here?
If in case Sakshi, somebody wants to take a bet, I can see technically yesterday's low was 2486. Today also it has exactly made the same low of 2486. And as long as this low is not breaking on charts, I think it can be a small bet one can take. 2486 remains your strict stop loss, maintaining both the lows. It can bounce up to 2630, 2635 for the day. So I think that's a higher side that we can see to it. And so, just wait for the levels. If 26, 30, 35 can be seen, book your profits out there. And then wait if, because your uptime, very strong resistance comes out to be at 2700. Now, whether it can cross or not, that's a different question in these markets. So immediate basis, I think 26, 30 can be looked at.
Okay, Sakshi, it's a very, very interesting time in the market. You've pointed out some stocks which have gained in the market. I'd like to make a note of Power Grid. This is the dip has been purchased, and at the moment 227.20. Remember, the entire power space is abuzz with gains over the last 1 month or so. And although it's only up 0.2%, but it speaks volumes as to how sensible people are rushing forward to buy dips in select stocks. I would also like to mention in the same breath Bajaj Auto. It's at 62.68. And the low, it's fairly up from the day's low. Ashok Leyland is at 1.6% higher from the day's low. All I have done, Sakshi, is tweaked my software to show me only last 10 minutes of trade. Now in the last 10 minutes of trade, the first initial 5 minutes were panic selling, and now in the last 10 minutes 137 stock futures are actually up compared with 48 that are down. So sensible people are using this opportunity to get back into frontline counters which are sensible in nature. The first 15 minutes are with us, Vineet. While I do not request for a trade on the long or the short side, I'm just asking your impression of how these minutes have passed. We are just 0.6% lower on the Nifty. 21,000 is still with the bulls.
I think it's too early to call it a bull market, Shail, while the large caps have been holding out. But you will find that, there is profit taking happening across the board, and eventually all these stocks will give way. So my personal opinion is that not to get gung ho about these corrections, just to wait your while out for the next few days.
Fair point, and that's a very, very sensible advice coming in from a person who's done 2 decades in stocks. Let's look at the high beta space, the ones that are sort of correcting. Poonawalla FinCap 2.5% lower, 430. Canara Bank 2.3% lower, 415. Zomato 2% lower, 122. Nykaa 1.5% lower, 162. Policy Bazaar 1.3% lower, 746.35. What's in the green in this space? This is something that I'm sure our friend Vineet will appreciate. Titagarh Wagons 1004, 1.5%, 0.5% higher. CDSL 1% higher, 1822. BHEL 0.7% higher, 173. What else is moving in the green? These are the ones at least that I'd like to put out in front of the screen. Sakshi, what are you watching?
There's also momentum in HPCL Shell. It's up by 0.6%. We have been, counting out how many days HPCL, BPCL both went up in trade, and IOC as well in the entire oil and gas pack as well. So that's something that's moving. Apart from this, Shell, there are a lot of chemical names that are moving up. Archean Chemicals, Navin Fluorine, these are the stocks that are moving up in trade as well. In trade today, we also have stocks like Graphite India moving up, Gujarat Fluorochemicals moving up in trade, GSPL also moving up in trade as well in trade today. So some of these stocks, in fact, logistics stocks are moving. Blue Dart, all cargo logistics, delivery, all three of them are moving up in trade. Vineet, how would you really look at these particular stocks, the logistics names like Blue Dart, all cargo logistics and delivery? Any particular trade here or a long-term bet that you would like to advise investors?
I think Blue Dart could be an interesting play to watch out for, given the fact that international sea lane traffic costs have really gone up due to them having to go all the way around the African continent to do trade with Asia. So this is one stock which is looking positive and can be interesting play.
Okay, fair enough. Well, on that note, thanks a lot, Vineet, for being with us on this special edition, and hope to see you again when the markets are even brighter from here on as well very, very soon. What we'll do is we'll take a very short break right here. When we return, we will continue to discuss more about market strategies, stocks and trends with Sony on the other side of this break. Stay with us.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Welcome back on Market Today. There is some, how should I say, panic again setting in as far as Nifty is concerned. 21,000 is at risk. The first 15 minutes saw some very decent bout of short covering of all the short positions that were there in the last half an hour of trade yesterday. Now people are reassessing the situation. It is also the weekly expiry day for the index. So 21,011, 140 points lower. Nifty Bank is again close to 450 points lower, 47,000. And the IT index is again getting back into the pain. So the first initial 15 minutes were when all the shorts that had been put into the system in the last half an hour of trade yesterday seems to have squared up. That caused the price to rise, and now let us see the slip that is happening. The next half an hour is also going to be interesting as to where this correction will take us. I want to mark two stocks. DOM's IPO, which was listed yesterday, is now shedding 3.5%, 1278. Remember, the IPO got listed at a 77% premium to its selling price of 690. Also, India Shelter This IPO was also listed fairly with a premium of 26% higher, now down 1.5% at 537. The high beta stocks that I'd like to mark, which are at the day's highs, are stocks like BHEL, stocks like Tata Power. Now they have shifted into the green and are rising fairly rapidly, which ensures two things. One is the fact that the dip in select stocks has been purchased. The Nifty, the BHEL is up 1.1%, 174 in the futures. Remember Tata Power, the one that I just talked about, is now at 325. We had discussed it at 319. Power Grid is now 1% higher. What else is moving? The metals packs, Steel Authority, NMDC, Vedant and Hindustan Copper are back in the green. These are the stocks that I'd like to mark. Sakshi, of course, mentioned IRCTC, now up 2%. Like I said, it's an interesting session to just look at and mark prices. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Metals pack, and I'm now looking at Hind Copper, that's moving up 1.3% higher in trade. Shell, that's the one that's moving up in the entire F&O pack. Of course, Steel Authority, you mentioned, that's been moving up as well. Oil and gas stocks definitely in focus in trade today. That's the space that's still hoping to continue to be in the green, while the other sectors are down in the red. So Castrol up in trade, Oil India 1.8% higher. Gujarat State Petronet up by 1%. We also have HPCL that I already pointed out, Mahanagar Gas, Gujarat Gas, Indraprastha Gas. All of these gas counters are also moving up in trade. Soni, anything that you look for a long-term positional trade in the gas stocks like Indraprastha Gas, Mahanagar, or maybe Gujarat Gas?
Yeah. So I think definitely if we look at from a longer perspective based strictly on charts, IGL seems to have that upper hand. So IGL is consolidating in a range. I think we've seen some of the prices bottoming out at 380. So 380 is the lower end of the range. The higher end of the range, of course, is 410, 415. So it's consolidating. Only the moment it crosses, that 415 resistance, you can see a good, up move up to coming up to 435, 440 levels. So it's very imperative for that resistance of 415 to be crossed when we're talking about a, medium term to long term positional trade. So we'll keep that in mind. 415 resistance, if it crosses and closes above it, sustains, then you can look forward to another 435, 440 odd target.
Okay, fair enough.
Sakshi, interesting things. Look at the NSE 500 list in terms of the most active counters. Remember, we are in a panic and the first 5 stocks are actually in the green. So IRFC is up 1.5%. It's the top traded counter, 93.90, 629 crores worth of transactions. HDFC Bank and Reliance are in the green, 581 plus 447 crores in terms of transaction. IRCTC in the green, 2.8% higher, 838. We've been joking for a while that it's IRFC and IRCTC who have a regular competition amongst the two of them. Who will be the highest traded counter? Well, that's how it is. Now, it's the 5th stock, Sakshi, which is Indian Bank, which is in the red. Now, what is interesting, it is down 5.65% at 406. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is not the story. The story is that from a low of 391, the stock has come back to 406. This is what I'm trying to say, that this panic is being purchased in sensible and select stocks by people who have a longer term view of the market. And it is HDFC Bank and Reliance that are being sort of used to keep this drop on the Nifty on a manageable level. And Sakshi, Tata Power now is up 2.5% at 326. And again, I'll tell you the low for the day. The low on Tata Power was 312. It is now at 326. So all I'm trying to say is that this panic is being sensibly bought into. Of course, there is a possibility that the Nifty might end in the red, because of weekly expiry consideration, and the fact that we've made a lot of supernormal gains. Be that as it may, sense says that sensibility is prevailing, Sakshi.
Fair enough, Shail. So those sensibilities definitely prevailing. More stocks now are inching up into the green from the Nifty pack as well, especially the cement names. Look at Ultratech Cement. That's up in trade right now. Grasim is moving up, 0.4% higher for this one as well. Ambuja Cements is also moving up in trade as well. Sony, how would you look at the cement pack, and any particular top favorites in terms of charts and technicals that you like as far as the cement pack is concerned?
It's a Sakshi entire cement pack I've been mentioning for quite a while, even when the markets were on a higher note, that it was time to book profits and look for dips to enter. So, just likewise, we've seen the entire pack come down. It's time to look at the stocks such as India Cements, which is holding on some good technical levels, even after the entire fall. And that breakout level, which we'd seen noticed in India Cement, was above 235. It is currently trading around 248. So, this is the breakout range that we've seen. So, I think India Cement could be one of the stocks where it can, definitely hold on to its support of 235. So, if it's defending that, you can again see a bounce back coming up to 260, 265 levels in short term. So, I think India Cement is one of the stocks technically on charts, positionally, which is still looking it's decent as of now, when it's still giving you that it's holding on to its breakout level. So I think 235 on the lower range, 265 on the higher side of the range.
Okay, fair enough. So India Cements as the top pick from the cement pack by Sony right here. Sony, let me also ask you some more stocks on which you can give us a view. Sony, do you tag the Adani Group stocks? Many of them are coming up in trade now. Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, Adani Green, Ambuja, of course, I talked about, that's up in the green. How would you look at them?
So if I look at Adani Green, I can see that it is still not gone below its 20 EMA, which is at 1356, and it is a near-term support. And also, it has filled out that technical gap, which we had seen on 6th of December, and then 5th and 6th of December, there was a gap of almost 200 plus points. So I think it has filled out that gap technically speaking, and that 20 EMA of 1356 is still intact. So that holds out as a near term good support. Of course, resistances are also there. I can see multiple resistances around 1550. So at least from current levels, you can see if it bounces back to 1550, breaks that resistance, then you can see again, a good upside on it. As of now, this is the range which can be seen for Adani Green. I think so.
Okay.
This is one stock we can put in watch list. Adani Ports are similar again. It exactly very close to its 20 EMA of 985. It has not broken. Today's
Yeah.
low is also 989. So I think 985 good support. If it's able to hold this in short term, you can see it testing and closing above its 10 EMA, which is above
Sure.
1030. So I think that
Sure,
would be
sure.
watch.
Okay. Let's mark the Nifty right now. It's at 21,087. So the dips are being bought into. It's reduced the losses from the opening levels. It's just now about 70 points down in the trade. And what is picking up pace is the IT names, Shail, that you pointed out that could be into the green. LTI Mindtree, the top stock now on the Nifty, a percent higher in trade. We also have now Wipro that's moving up. HCL Technologies, TCS, all of them inching higher in trade as well, Shail.
Sakshi, another point on the Nifty, the most immediate 5 minutes that you see, the high was 21,094, and that was the low of yesterday. So that is being tested, and let us see what the next 5, 7, 10 minutes do. The last 15 minutes, the Nifty has moved from a low of 21,000 to 21,078. These are all very, very volatile moves. Nobody is trying to catch them or make money out of them. It's just that I'm trying to say that a very, very concerted effort is being made by bulls to restore sanity in the market. And I had mentioned a critical advanced decline level in the morning on the Nifty. Would you believe it, Sakshi? In the last 15 minutes, there are 29 stocks in the Nifty that have risen compared with 21 that are in the green. Now, which are the ones that have risen? Now, Britannia is in the green, 49.90. Tata Consumer is still in the red, but it has appreciated dramatically from the day's low. Remember, these are the two stocks that we had discussed. ITC is at 449.05, but it has appreciated 0.5% from intraday low. What else is looking good? Tata Steel, Coal India, Hindalco, and of course, as you very rightly mentioned, the entire tech pack. That's doing phenomenally well, and of course, Eicher Motors. Now, the advanced decline is 20 is to 30. Remember, it was 7 is to 43 when we started the trade. So, the dip on the Nifty in select counters is also getting purchased. It is 950. Let us see what the first 1 hour of trade brings you. But for the moment, there is sense and sensibility in the way this correction is getting negotiated by the market. Sakshi, Nifty down just half a point, half a percentage point, 21,050.
Absolutely, Shell. All right, Sony, let me take your view on a lot of stocks that are moving up, but let me take your view on the metals pack. You know, Tata Steel is 0.04% higher in trade. SAIL is up in trade. We already talked about. How would you look at the metal space? Any interesting counter that you are betting big on right now?
So I think before also we've mentioned, and we have Tata Steel as one of our picks mentioned and given recommended to our clients as well. So Tata Steel, very important, 50 EMA still getting defended. 127.3 is the level. I think on spot also it has tested 127.85 today. I can see the low. So that is very important because 50 EMA acts as a near-term good crucial support. So as long as this is holding, it can definitely bounce back up to 133. Although if I look at a broader range, it is still consolidating 125 on the downside, 138 on the upside. You know, it's a little broader range. So I think range play is also quite well. I think you can see 127, today's low of 127.5, 127.3. If that holds and it bounces back to 130, 132 plus levels, then I think, you know, it will again try to retest the higher end of the range, which is 136, 138.
Okay, you know, a lot of metal counters like Hindustan Copper now 2% higher in trade, picking up pace. NMDC is up by 1.17%. Ratnamani Metals 1.3% higher. Nalco is moving up by over 1% as well. Vedanta up in trade. Jindal Stainless up in trade. A lot of metal counters inching up, and therefore you now see the Nifty Metals Index coming up in green. In fact, a lot of buying happening from the dips. The IT is back into the green. The broader market, small and the mid caps are back into the green as well. Both of them slightly higher in trade. Consumer durables, that's the space that's again coming up in trade too. Some buying really happening there. Let me look at the counters that are moving up in the consumer durable space. Blue Star up by 2.2%. Dixon Technologies we discussed. Voltas 1% higher. Kajaria Ceramics, that's up in trade. Orient Electric, Whirlpool, Relaxo Footwear. These counters are inching up higher as well. So a lot of buying happening from the lower levels in trade already, just about like half an hour from the opening of the markets right here. Sony, any trade that you spotted, any stock that you spotted in the last 5 minutes or so that warrant investors' attention?
The IT would be one of the sector immediately to see, and mid cap IT is still outperforming in some sort. So I think Birla Soft is one of the stocks, even though, you know, it has held on to its 690 was a support and 692 was its today's low. We'll just place 700 as a crucial support closing for weekly. If it's able to close above 700, then definitely the call writers who are trying to position themselves at that level will exit, and then you can see it again bouncing back to 730, 740 levels. So I think Birla Soft is in a good range to watch out for, and maybe perhaps even look for the upper side of 730, 740 to be broken decisively. So the moment it's broken, you can see more upside, but until then, we'll just have to accumulate and see that if the range plays out well or not.
Okay. Again, let's focus on high beta. And the defense, as we all know, has been on probably the biggest offensive in the market. Sakshi, of the 16 defense counters that I check, 14 are in the green and serious green, right? BEML you have discussed, 3% higher, 25.92. We have marked Mazgaon and Cochin shipyard, which is driven by news. Now it is Bharat Dynamics and Latent View, which are up between 1.5% and 2% respectively. Midhani and BEL, remember these are two government owned defense establishments, are up anywhere between 1.3 and 1%. Hindustan Aeronautics, the highest beta counter here is about 0.8% higher, 26.85. Again, let's shift focus to what is happening in terms of highly speculative high beta counters. Remember, IRCTC was the 5th most active traded counter. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's now at the 3rd place and in a very serious position to displace HDFC Bank. IRCT is 853, 4.7% higher. That's how it is as far as the opening trades are concerned. Now PSUs, I track 75 of them, Sakshi, and I'll tell you that 20 are in the red compared with 55 that are in the green. So sanity, like I said, is again presuming running loose in the market. So defense and PSUs, which were the most high beta, high action oriented stocks, are in the green. Within the broader framework of how markets are working, let's look at the speculative counters. IREDA now 2.7% higher, 107.70. I want to check out what was the low on IREDA. The low was 100 rupees and it's bounced about 7.75% intraday. What else is interesting, Sakshi? CAMS services 1.4% higher, 26.93. What else is moving in the green? Delta Corp 1.1% higher, 139.85. So this is how the structure is. And you had mentioned the indices in terms of the Nifty Energy Index. Okay, when the market had opened, all 19 indices were in the red. Well, Sakshi, now 4 plus 3, 7 indices are in the green. So that's how the broader market is working. The advanced decline ratio, hold your breath, on the NSE 500 is now favoring bulls, 3:2. So that is how you read the underlying granularity of the market as to what is performing and what isn't. Sakshi.
Right, let me just check Inox India, which is going to make its debut in just 4 minutes from now. It's settled at 43% premium higher, 949 rupees odd, and about 289 rupees point of a jump from 660 and the issue price as well. Of course, remember we were talking about the grey market premium that was indicating 70%, but the markets are lower. But we'll keep an eye. For 4 to 5 minutes from now, we'll see how Inox India also lists in trade today. Already it's settled at 44% premium in the pre-opening of the IPO as well. So that's something. IRCTC now, Shail, the top mover in the F&O space, 6% higher in trade. Sony, you talked about IRCTC as the stock as well from the railway pack that you would track. So that's moving up higher in trade. Apart from this, we're also looking at Hindustan Copper that we were talking about, now 4% higher from the metals pack. That's again moving. BHEL, Shail pointed out, 2.4% higher in the F&O space. Metropolis Healthcare, that's moving up, 3% higher in trade. Dixon Technologies, Aarti Industries, Tata Power, mentioned by Shail, 2% higher for this one in the F&O space as well. Particularly in the F&O space, Sony, any trade that you would like to take?
I think I would still stick to IRCTC. I think it's something that has looked well and it has held on to the support of 800, like I mentioned. and crossing that barrier of 850-60 band, it is currently at that. So if it moves higher, we can see even 880 for the day coming in. So I think that some place IRCTC is giving some relief. We can look for 880 for the day.
Okay, well, thanks a lot then, Sony, for being with us on this special edition and sharing such wonderful stock ideas. Let's see how the markets really pan out in trade. The Nifty is 21,051 as of now. Shail?
Right, Sakshi. So the first 43, 42 minutes have been, let us just say, use the word constructive. Constructive in the sense that a lot of people were hoping for a very serious gap down and then sustained selling. Well, so far till almost 10 a.m., there has been a mild sell-off in the morning. Now, sensible people seem to be buying into this sell-off. Only time will tell who will be the ultimate winner. My suggestion is for people who want to remain longer term in the market, let it settle for today and we'll take a call tomorrow. But so far, a lot of, how should I say, sensibility has prevailed, and in the broader market, I see very, very decent buying happening in stocks which have long shelf lives, which are driven by earnings, which are driven by order flows, especially in the defense space. Therefore, BEL, therefore BDL, Massgaon Docks, Cochin Shipyard, Hindustan Aeronautic are in the green. The PSU basket, which is mostly very, very high beta, low ticket, is again showing enthusiasm. Just as Sakshi pointed out, IRCTC, IRFC in the green. Intraday dips have been bought fairly sharply there. What will happen during market hours? Of course, we'll update at 2:30. Do join us. Ashish Chaturmota will be our main guest there, and we'll discuss this red or green, whatever it is, when we join back at 2:30. Sakshi.
Absolutely. Inox India, ladies and gentlemen, now 41% higher at 931 odd levels is what you can see. So definitely a premium of over 41, 42% despite this overall muted trend. So the strong companies continue to hold on to that premium in an otherwise weaker markets. There you have on your screens Inox India, strong listing, 922 odd levels being seen as of now as well. But definitely a very, very promising listing that we have seen on this one. We will continue to track more winners in the markets. Yes, Shail.
Sakshi, there is important news coming in.
Yeah.
Bharat Electronics has increased its inflow guidance for orders by 25%. Now it says the inflow of now at 25,000 crores versus 20,000 crores earlier, and perhaps that is the reason why the stock has fired up. My apologies for interrupting you, but this is the news that came in most immediately, and I thought I must mention this out. The low for the day was 164. The stock is now at 171.20, up 2.1%. Sakshi, over to you.
Fair enough. Well, thanks a lot then, Shail, for being with us on this special edition. We will wind down this edition, but do stay tuned with us onto Business Today TV and other market shows as well, when we track for you what is really buzzing in the markets in an otherwise, which is looking like to be an extended profit booking session as well. Many thanks for being with us on this one.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
Shares of Varun Beverages have hit a record high on an intraday basis of 1,380 in today's trading session as they surged 18% in trade. But what led to this sharp surge? Hello and welcome. You're watching